And welcome to Lang Park, where we have the biggest club crowd for the season, and why not? Beautiful weather, and the two top teams of the Premiership rounds in action here this afternoon. These two teams have met 3 times in competition. East's caned Redcliffe by 38-6 in the State League. Redcliffe won their first round clash by 8-6, and then they took the second round match by 24-14. But finals football, it's another story. Neither side would relish the thought of losing today and meeting Valleys next week in order to make the final. Looking at the teams now, and first up, let's have a look at Eastern Suburbs. Their captain is Larry Briganshaw, formerly from Ipswich, went to Sydney, now back here with Eastern Suburbs, of course, and he's been doing a fine job. And talking about fine jobs, the Tigers coach, John Lang, has done a tremendous job with this side throughout the year. They've done everything he's asked of them, and today it's their big test. They're a team of youngsters that are possessed of great speed and enthusiasm, but I feel that one of the older heads could be one of their major stars today. That's Wayne Lindenberg, that very elusive 5'8", who's capable of just about ripping the opposition apart, and that's the key to this very fast back line. Their forwards are an impressive lot too, and an emerging star for them is a blockbusting second rower, Gavin Jones. He's hit the representative scene this year, and he's out to make a big mark on this match this afternoon. Crashing their way through the Village Motors side of the Redcliffe side, and Mitch Brennan is back in Brisbane football, and he's certainly made his mark early or late in the season. Not off to a very good early start, but he's coming good now. Let's have a look at Redcliffe. They're unbeaten in their last 7 games, and their winning streak coincides with the return to form of that man, Mitch Brennan. Their major force does, however, lie up front. They have a block-busting set of forwards, including the new addition to the Australian team this year. That, of course, is Wally, Fullerton-Smith. But the player that coach John Barber will be looking for a big game from today is Paul Kahn. Now, if he can establish supremacy up front, the Dolphins are on their way to the grand final. Experience is their big advantage, and there's 2 of the most experienced players around on your screen right now. Former Test referee Eddie Ward is the man in charge here today. He gets his turn to impress as we reach up to the grand final, and we'll be looking for a grand final referee. But look at that for a start, Michael. This is final football.
It's really tough, and that big Redcliffe pack up early, and a nice high kick, which is, well, not usual.
Shane Bernarden drops up as dummy half. Back it goes then to their front row, Richie Paulson, a young fellow, but he's possessed of a lot of potential, and we certainly saw him in the representative game this year show a whole stack of ability.
As well as intestinal fortitude, and that was against North Sydney.
OK, there's their little halfback, Colin Part, out to Bleakley. Bleakley, one of the most consistent players in the competition, will be tackled right on the quarter line. The final tackle's coming up. Referee Ward, as you can see, signalling that right now. Ball scooped back. There's Bernarden, puts it up. It's not a very good one. It goes back over his head. Redcliffe players go everywhere, but East will end up with it. They'll come away with it, and it was their hooker in Max Saal, the man to dive on the ball for them. They've lost it a couple of times now. Crucial time, and that pressure really getting to them so far.
Both teams making mistakes initially.
Here's Paul Kahn. Kahn's lost it too, so it'll be Brad Backer's ball. Both teams a little over anxious, and they've lost the ball on what? Redcliffe once and East twice. So away from dummy half goes Cavill Hugh. Just one of the many young, promising players in that Eastern Suburbs side.
East forwards will want to run onto this ball very strongly early and keep it up.
That's Brett LeMan, held up 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Max Saal comes in as the dummy half now. Beautiful conditions out here at Lang Park today. It's going to get steamy, Mick.
Yes, actually, storms forecast for this afternoon, but well, they're a long way away just yet.
Here's Forster now. He'll run up over the quarter line. Saal, the first one there to meet him, puts him down.
Pretty quiet start, really, to this final. I thought there'd be more fireworks than this.
Away from dummy half is John Chapman. Gains about 10 metres before he's put down. Saal, the tackler once again. Away from dummy half, Bernarden feeds it on, but there's no chance of any gap appearing there as the Eastern Suburbs defence moves up very quickly. Colin Part away this time to Paul Kahn. Kahn crashing his way up. But he's met with plenty of opposition there. 3 Eastern Suburbs players going in. And they certainly, well and truly bottled him up. Now, here's some dogged Eastern Suburbs defence, but Redcliffe keep it going, flying it across field. Vic Ty, the man with the ball now. Gee, there's some heavy tackling just the same, Michael.
Yes, and it's not Redcliffe doing it at present. It's Eastern Suburbs going in. 3 ahead.
OK, back it goes to Bernarden. Bernarden with a grubber kick. Stacey takes it down. Straight ahead will be tackled over there by Dave Brown.
I remember Steve Stacey missing many of those, or most of them, so he started off on the right foot.
And, of course, when he's on the right foot, things really start to happen for him. Eastern Suburbs are in possession, about 12 metres inside Redcliffe territory. Wayne Lindenberg gets it away to Jones, this big strapping young man, straight up the centre, but met with plenty of defence on that occasion. As you can see, Vicky Ty in there, Fullerton-Smith, and also Paul Kahn. So now it's Eastern Suburbs in possession. Lindenberg sends it outside, Tangdale coming through. It's going to be wrapped up by Mitch Brennan, though. The lock forward is up there as the dummy half. That's Brett LeMan. Back to Briginshaw. Briginshaw driving it downfield. They've given Forster a bit of work in the early part. It's bouncing back over the dead ball line, is it? Yes, or is it in the in-goal area? Back to the quarterway.
Good tactics from East. Keep this big Redcliffe side on the back foot. And that'll be a handful all on its own.
So they'll take the tap. Mitch Brennan's calling for something from the sideline at the moment. We'll get an idea of what that's all about. The trainer's coming out, so he just needs some little bit of attention at this stage. Meanwhile, it's Redcliffe in possession, and that's Paulson dummy half away to Colin Part. They turn it around nicely, still going. There's Brown coming through. Brown eventually tackled, though, about 30 metres out from his own line. Forster is the dummy half for Redcliffe now. And Vicky Ty attempting to take it up. And they're about 8 metres short of the halfway mark. No points on the board as yet here at Lang Park. And a pretty tight start, although a bit of mishandling has been the feature of play so far.
You may have said it was steamy, but that northwest breeze coming in may cool the players, but it's a lot hotter than usual here, I can assure you.
Final tackles on the way, and Redcliffe are just short of that halfway mark now. As Bernarden in there as the dummy half sends it back to Colin Part, who decides to run it out now, put the boot underneath it. He's looking for touch, but he won't find it. Back there is the fullback in Payne. Gavin Payne works it up. Dave Brown comes in. He got away from him. Can't get away from the next tackle, though. He's pulled down about 4 or 5 metres short of the halfway mark from the play of the ball. Steve Stacey runs it out now. Stacey up to the halfway mark. Dummy half is Max Sale. Sale waiting for it. And he'll send it away to Briginshaw. Quickly outside to Gavin Jones. Jones running up the centre, but he's well met up. Or Patterson it was on that occasion. Well met up the centre there. From the play the ball again. Briginshaw sending it across to Lindenberg. All cutting and weaving away here. Kelly back inside. Can't get away from Mitch Brennan, but can get the pass away. And the man waiting there for it was Ray Kelly.
Oh, good play from Eastern Suburbs.
This is Lindenberg up as dummy half.
They don't seem to be panicking.
Here's the little fella putting it through and putting Redcliffe under pressure again. Going back into the in-goal area is Colin Part. It's into touch in the in-goal area. So Redcliffe, or rather East, are the ones putting on the pressure in the early part of this game.
I feel those old heads in Redcliffe would be pacing themselves. Not really worried as yet, Bill. Both big packs, a young pack in Eastern Suburbs and a big old pack, well, not really old, a mature pack for this Redcliffe side.
Paul Kahn loses it again. He's reaching out to try and regather. It's towed through now. Bernarden's going through out after it, so the referee will play that knock on.
Well, it was touched by an Eastern Suburbs player. He could have very well played play on there.
Well, he decided to let it to revert it back to that knock on. So we'll have a scrum about 30 metres out now from the Redcliffe line. Let's have another look at it again here, Mick.
Well, it had been kicked through there by East, or kicked back to their supports, and then Redcliffe regained. I think he's playing the knock on there from Redcliffe on the ground.
Back with it live now. Here's Eastern Suburbs with it, but a little bit scrappy getting away from that scrum. Now Brett LeMan starting to work through, but there's Bernarden coming in straight over the top, took him ball and all, and halted his progress about 24 metres out from the Redcliffe line. Back inside then to Trevor Patterson again. Dummy half waiting for it is Sale. Over to McNally. Turns it away to Sale again. Just inside the quarterway.
Redcliffe allowing East to run a little bit, and they don't want to do that because East will start to settle down.
This is Lindenberg. Briginshaw. Patterson. Gee, they've given him a bit of work in the early part of the game.
Actually, he was having a spell then. He didn't think he was going to get that one, but it was very hot when he received it.
Dummy half is Ray Kelly on the final tackle now. Back over to Shane McNally. McNally high. Back there to Forster again. He's got plenty of work on his hands here this afternoon. Takes it in the in-goal area, but he won't get out of it. Tackle back there. Drop out from underneath the goal mouth. So, once again, it's East keeping up the pressure.
Both teams seem to be playing it very steadily. Redcliffe playing steady defensive type of football, and East putting the pressure on, but not panicky.
Here's the dropout coming up right now. Once again, it's Shane Bernarden, the man to perform that duty. He'll drive it up towards Patterson, who was standing back waiting. It worked out all right for them, Mick, but it could have been a lot of trouble.
Oh, Patterson didn't want that at all. Just watched it bounce, and you never let a ball bounce in that particular area.
Eventually, it was Gavin Payne, the man to come away with it for Eastern Suburbs, so that could have been A bit of a blue on their part. So now back to Patterson. Patterson put down 15 metres out now from the Redcliffe line. Dummy half is Sal. Sal waits for it, sends it across into Briganshaw. Lindenberg. Here he goes, the little fella trying to skip his way through, but Arden stops him on this occasion. Eastern Suburbs and a penalty. Not letting him play the ball, Shane Bernarden, giving away 2 points. Not a good start to it. Here it is now, Mick.
Well, actually, yes, they're certainly not letting him get up, and then he rolls him over, and yes, all over him like a rash. German measles gone mad.
So it's a chance for Eastern Suburbs to get the first points on the board, and not much chance of them missing out on those, because Shane McNally, we know what he's like.
Yes, he's been right on target all the year. One of the hidden weapons that Eastern Suburbs have.
140 points for the season, coming from 64 goals and 3 tries. 64 out of 93 attempts at goal. That's pretty good, Mick.
My word, when he kicks this one, he will drive it onto the railway lines over there.
Well, actually, where he drives it, he'll almost drive it up into the Valley players who are up that end of the field watching the match this afternoon. We'll get a shot of them later. But there it is, McNally driving it through. The first points are on the board. Eastern Suburbs are leading Redcliffe by 2 points to 0 in this major semi-final. 14 minutes of the first half gone. East holding on to that lead of 2 points to 0. Penalty for Redcliffe. Out of that scrum. Referee Eddie Ward, who doesn't seem to have had as much trouble with the scrums so far today, Mick, as he has in other matches this season.
Well, he hasn't had that many yet, Bill.
Well, I'm just trying to get him off to a flying start.
With me. Yes, he may have learned. Let's hope he lets it flow.
But he did move in pretty quickly to rectify whatever was happening in there. Awarded the penalty, rather than keep on packing down scrums as he has in the past. Bleakley getting it back inside to Fullerton-Smith. Fullerton-Smith held up about 20 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. A chance now for the Dolphins to put on the attack. As Part sends it back to Paulson. Now he gets it. Oh, it's lost by Cherry. He's following through out after it for the referee to play the knock on.
Great work from Paulson, but unfortunately his pass, he did everything right and then threw a lobbing sort of pass that Cherry had no chance in the world of getting hold.
Harry Briganshaw to feed this scrum. All screws around. Redcliffe will end up with it. They've won that against the feed. Colin Part almost through, but Briganshaw making up for missing out on things there. Quickly across in cover, but Bleakley's away from dummy half. Can't get anywhere. Briganshaw's at him again, and he'll be forced down.
These forwards walking a little at present.
Dummy half is Colin Part. Over there to Boxall. Boxall trying to crash his way through. He stood them up nicely now to take up the attack from there. This is Vic Ty. Ty being held up, and he's only about 2 or 3 metres out. A chance for the Dolphins. And the dummy half up there is Bernarden. He turns it back inside, then to Paulson. Paulson with the head down, close to the line. The final tackle on its way. Dummy half is Bernarden through his legs, but he scoops it up. Part keeps it going. That's Paul Kahn. They get it away to Forster, then outside there to Steve Cherry. Back inside it goes. It's a try for Brennan. Good work, Redcliffe. Just kept working away with that ball, and here it is.
Oh, beautiful play from Redcliffe. Really precious stuff. No panic about anything. Kahn throws the long pass, and it was picked up basically by Forster, who it wasn't meant for. A bit of a juggle there from Cherry, and the inside pass back to that man, Mitch Brennan. I think he's going to cause East a few headaches this afternoon. Great work, Redcliffe.
Now, here it is from the early start. It could have been botched up here, Mick, when it went through the legs of Bernard. Whoops, but he very quickly cleared it, and then they kept it going from there, right across field. And you can see them motoring through. There's Cherry. Now, Mitch Brennan on the scene. And he's over for the try. Redcliffe's first try of the match, the first try of the match. And their first time to hit the front, 4 points to 2 at the moment here at Lang Park.
It's very noticeable. East over in the shade of the grandstand, having a little respite and a big talk, because their defence in that last 3 minutes was nothing short of pathetic in a final.
So now it's John Chapman attempting to convert the try. He's on his way. How does it look? It looks no good. And in fact, the touch judges had very little worries about waving the flag quite early in the piece. So a Redcliffe into the front. They lead by 4 points to 2. Tap will be taken 15 metres inside Eastern Suburbs territory. Brown brings it across. Now to Bernarden. Paul Kahn, Bernarden again. Now on to Olsen, back to Bernarden. Touched by the opposition, picked up by Bleakley. Bleakley almost through in the centre. They'll take it on, Fullerton-Smith. Forster into it, Cherry still going. And eventually put down just about on the quarter line.
A lot of missed tackles by East.
Dummy half is Bernarden. There's Vic Ty. Ty crashing onto it. Taking plenty of East players with him in the process. Penalty now. Interfered with that play the ball. Wayne Lindenberg got a bit of a knock to the head.
Patterson saying that's why he grabbed at the ball.
Wayne Lindenberg leaving the field. And we'll work on a replacement. Here he goes, John Chapman away to the left-hand side of the uprights. Play comes back onto the quarter wave. Lindenberg is subject of a lot of attention down there on the touchline. Coach laying there to have a look. They're deciding, I would say at this stage, Mick, whether to stitch it up or put another player on. He's going to come back on. Wayne Lindenberg, he's going to resume. Meanwhile, the kickoff. So that's Forster.
East not chasing the opposition and putting them on the deck with any, well, gusto at all at present.
Play from dummy half, Bernarden. Sending it back on there to Paulson. Boxall back inside. Paul Kahn. Boxall will back up now as dummy half. Fullerton-Smith. Midway between the quarter and halfway, they're down in East Territory, and there's the final tackle on its way. Oh! Shane Bernarden. A bump then from the man. He didn't like it. Let him know all about it. Bad enough knocking it on, let alone getting bumped. Brigginshaw. It'll be a Redcliffe ball against the feed.
Well, and they seem to be winning all the ball, Redcliffe.
Fullerton-Smith's in as dummy half.
Lindenberg, I'm sorry, Bill, has a cut on his cheek, not on his eye.
Through is Bleakley. Back inside to Brennan. Bit of action coming up here. Brennan just held up. Let it go to Bleakley. Bleakley up over the quarterway. He gets it away to Forster. Forster pulled down. Oh, it flew loose. Picked up by Brown, but a knock on there.
Oh, they're looking superb, Redcliffe. And East at 6s and 7s to stop them. I thought it was East that was supposed to have the speedy side, Bill.
Well, if nothing much is happening up front, does make it a bit difficult, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
And this one's going to fly out of the back of the scrum and into touch. So we'll have another scrum. Comes against the feed. Redcliffe 2-1. Penalty now against Colin Part as he fed that scrum incorrectly.
I was wondering why Redcliffe were winning all that ball.
Well, Mick, at this stage, there's just a couple of minutes remaining in this first half.
And it's all been Redcliffe. For the first 5 minutes, it looked as though East were going to swamp Redcliffe. And then, as I said, Redcliffe seemed to be just containing themselves, not panicking. And they've had certainly the better of this half. And probably, if they hadn't have dropped the ball on a couple of occasions, could have had 2 more tries on the board, which really would have put paid to East chances.
Maxall is up as dummy half.
They're playing very good football indeed, Redcliffe. Controlled football.
Dummy half will be Leman. Brigginshaw. McNally back to Brigginshaw. Brigginshaw says, well, I would have a go myself. Penalty coming up here against Wally Fullerton-Smith. There it goes.
Yes, it was head high, but I don't see how it would have knocked him out unless his head hit the ground.
Didn't see a great deal to be too worried about, actually. It was a little bit high, but...
Well, it was high, but it wasn't a swinging arm. He just put reflex action, basically.
Eastern Suburbs will take the penalty. Gavin Payne to kick for touch as Brigginshaw still receives attention. Tap will be taken a couple of metres short of the halfway mark. McNally across and eventually going through as Cavalhue. East play it quickly. That's Sal. So the first half grinding to a halt at this stage. McNally back over to Gavin Jones. Lindenberg's up as dummy half. Back onto McNally. McNally with the very high one this time. Who ends up with it? Eastern Suburbs do. Tackled right on the quarter line. Touched by the opposition, so another 6 tackles. Can he storm into the half-time break with a try? Want to get a move on. Time's running out. About 20 seconds remaining in this, the first half. Brigginshaw to Lindenberg. Away then to Payne. Payne got it around the corner. Kelly. Dummy half Brad Backer. Lindenberg. He'll be tackled about 20 metres out now from the Redcliffe line.
These forwards walking. That doesn't win finals.
There's the half-time hooter as Brigginshaw dummies back to Steve Stacey. He in turn is tackled, and it's half-time at Lang Park. And at half-time, 1 try on the board by Mitch Brennan for Redcliffe, and a penalty by Shane McNally for Eastern Suburbs makes up a scoreline of 4 points to 2.
Have you heard? Chandler's September Sellathon is in full swing. Here are some of the electrifying bargains. Sanyo colour video cassette recorders with 8-day programmable timer and picture search, only $5.99. GE 210-litre compact single-door refrigerators with large freezer compartment, just $339. Further proof that Chandler's bulk buying for 55 busy stores keeps prices down on top-quality appliances.
Chandler. We stand behind the product we sell.
Here's the kick-off for the second half here at Lang Park, and it's Redcliffe leading at the half-time break by 4 points to 2. But I don't think, Nick, that 4-2 would be any real indication of how they pretty much dominated that first half.
Not at all. Redcliffe head and shoulders above them in every aspect, defence and attack. And what surprised me is this East young pack hasn't got in and hit the line in attack or in defence. And I'm sure John Lang would have had something to say about that at half-time.
Dummy half coming up this time is Shane Bernard. And always knocked it on. Had that one on its way before he even had it, I think. So a scrum about 30 metres out from the Redcliffe line. It'll be Larry Brigginshaw, the Eastern Suburbs half-back to feet. A penalty to Easts. Foot up in the scrum. So Shane Bernard not having a very happy start to the second half. Gavin Payne to kick for touch. So they'll take the tap just about on the quarter line now. Maxall onto the mark. McNally. Now back inside to Steve Stacey. So from the play the ball, Brigginshaw, Lindenberg, then away to Tengdall. Chased over there and put to the ground. Steve Cherry. So away from dummy half Brad Backer. Still haven't quite made it up onto that cornerway yet. They do now. So from the play the ball to McNally. McNally attempting to take it up the centre. Here's the final tackle. Back to Lindenberg. Lindy with the bomb. More like a little chip kick. Forster caught in the in-goal area, but he took it nicely. So another drop out from underneath the goalmouth. Shane Bernard's had plenty of these today. So much so that he's not going to take this one. It'll be Dave Brown. Doesn't get terribly high, but it gets a bit of distance. Rolls back onto the quarter line. They're all taking their time east to get across there. Eventually Gavin Payne. Oh, and a hefty tackle by Fullerton-Smith over the top.
And I'd have to say, Brett Tingle not too interested in chasing that ball and retrieving it.
So now this is Steve Stacey. Still going, the big winger. Bullocking his way through. Good run from him. So now, can Eastern Suburbs take it up from there? This is Gavin Jones. Jones just getting up onto that quarter line. Max Sale, the dummy half. Sale works it back to Lindenberg. Tackled, but got it back to McNally. Oh, that's got to be forward.
It's got to be a penalty, yes. Tackle without the ball.
All right.
Well, it would have been forward, I think, Bill. You were called it right the first time. You'll see it here. He dummies. There's the dummy. And, of course, you can't see it.
You can there.
The support being piggybacked onto the ground without the ball before he got it.
So a chance now for Shane McNally to lift it all up.
This is how he started the first half, of course.
That's right.
Although I must admit they are hitting the line with a bit more zing.
A little bit more gusto into the affair from them. I would imagine Johnny Lang had a few words to say at the half-time break. Would be responsible for their newfound energy.
Maybe the 6 jiggers hanging off them out there, and he just presses a button every now and then. I think he needs to.
Shane McNally's back onto his mark. He's moving up for the shot at goal. And further 2 points for Eastern Suburbs. They level it up. It's 4 points all here at Lang Park.
Australia, the homeland, who's your #1 brand? Luxaflex, we're proud of the job you've done. For windows and doors, you've got so much more. Luxaflex, Australia's #1. Luxaflex, Australia's #1.
And he tracked that Mitsubishi Colt. He tracked it far and wide, for he had boldly set his sights to have a look inside.
Mitsubishi Colt, 1.6-litre power, precise handling, and economy that leaves many of the others way behind. Mitsubishi Colt. Track it down at your Mitsubishi dealer.
You could win this spectacular Porsche 928S or one of 10 Pan American holidays by entering the Shell Lucky Lubricants draw. With any Shell oil change or Shell oil purchase, you could take off with one of these great prizes. Enter now at your participating Shell service station, but hurry.
17 minutes into the second half. 5 points to 4. Redcliffe adding that field goal by Shane Bernard. Now getting a penalty, which will allow them to put the ball upfield.
Quite a few penalties from the scrums.
Penalties from scrums are 3-2 East's favour. Penalties overall to 9-5 East's favour. Scrums, on the other hand, are going Redcliffe way by 8-5. They won a couple against the feed. So now that's John Boxall. The loser of this match, of course, today will play Valleys next week at Lang Park. As I said at the start of the game, neither side would want to do that. Not in the form that the Diehards are in at the moment. Vicky Ty. Bernard in his dummy half. Talking about next week's games in the 3rd grade, Souths will play West, and in the reserve grade it's Redcliffe playing Souths. So the Magpies still hanging on to chances in 2nd and 3rd grade. Bleakley, Cherry. Well wrapped up this time. Of course, we have our Sabre Sportsman man of the match at the conclusion of this game. Sabre tracksuit and also the Sabre Sports shirt. And they put it up high. Taken back there by the fullback in Payne. Here's Steve Stacey. He's made some good grounded runs today, Stacey. Dummy half is Max Sale. Decides to go himself. Quickly tabbed, however, by Cherry.
There are a few gaps in the middle of that ruck of Redcliffe.
Trevor Patterson. McNally. Just inside the Redcliffe half of the field with the final tackle coming up. Sale to Lindenberg. Shaped for the kick, now decides to send a long one over the top to Brad Backer. Backer kicks forward, he's following out after it. Forster will want to get a move on, but he got a nice bounce. Relieved the pressure somewhat.
And it's a pity Backer kicked that, because Lindenberg was backing him up on the inside beautifully. If he hadn't have kicked it, he could have passed it.
Colin Part plays it back there to Fullerton-Smith, then to Mitch Brennan. Not much in it at the moment, 5-4 in Redcliffe favour. Getting up to just about the halfway mark in the second half, Nick. In the second half, well, it's been a bit of a slogging affair, hasn't it?
Well, it's real final football. We have to admit they're trying all sorts of things, but they're coming unstuck on occasions, but it's real dour stuff.
Here's the final tackle, so Mitch Brennan puts the boot underneath it, but it's going to be out on the full.
Once again, Mitch Brennan kicking towards Payne rather than down the middle of the field and chasing the ball.
Here's the scrum, 10 metres out from the Redcliffe line. It'll be fed, of course, by the halfback for East and Larry Briggenshaw, who lines up with it. It's going to be interesting to see who wins the tussle over there. Oh no, Briggenshaw must have just got underneath Colin Part. Here's Brad Backer. Now, chance for the Tigers. 5 tackles to go. Only 10 metres out from the line as Lindenberg sends it back to Jones. Jones working across field.
But he didn't drop the ball on this occasion, and that's plus for him.
Trevor Patterson. Still only 8 metres out at East. Briggenshaw. Back inside then to Cavalhue. They're keeping it alive. That's Shane McNally. Final tackle. So Briggenshaw puts up the bomb. Forster's back there just about on his own. Someone's got it. It's a try. Try to Eastern Suburbs. Working out in a minute. I think it's Gavin Payne, the fullback.
And he's made amends for the one he missed early in the first half. Good bomb from Briggenshaw. Just as well that lad carried on and didn't go off. Now, Forster's here. Eyes on the ball. He hasn't made a mistake. It's just that Payne has come through and Foster disappeared under what a bunch of players.
There were plenty of Eastern Suburbs players there, and as I said, Forster was just about on his own, as you'll see here. Beautiful bomb from Briggenshaw. There's Forster now. And have a look at them. Converging on him in all directions. Up they go. And away comes Payne to go down for the try. So Eastern Suburbs back into the lead, Michael. 8 points to 5.
And quite frankly, the way they've been playing, they didn't deserve to be in front at present. I've got to be honest. Redcliffe will want to tighten up. Redcliffe looking more dangerous than East, although East putting the points on the board.
Yes, those points are up there. Shane McNally converts the try. East are leading by 10 points to 5. Shane Bernarden's coming up as dummy half. East are leading by 10 points to 5. Vic Ty. Wrapped up, though, by the East forwards. They're working across into the centre there, but now Bernarden decides to go back the other way. Colin Part well wrapped up. Didn't achieve much there, losing ground, as a matter of fact. Fullerton-Smith. 5 metres out, the Dolphins. Brown up as dummy half. Over to Part. They're moving through very swiftly, Eastern Suburbs. And wrapped up there in the tackle is Bleakley by his opposite number in Lindenberg. Here's the final tackle. Bernarden puts it up, but there's no pressure on Gavin Payne back there in the in-goal area, but he's got to get out. That's the only problem he's got. Can he run it out? No, he can't.
He fell over, Bill.
Well, I think he might have just got a bit off balance from Forster. I'm not sure. But he's hurt himself too in that process. Here's a drop out from... And it's out on the full. Penalty right in front. Bad blue. Now Bernarden has it. He gives it to Colin Parks. They're not going to take the kick. They're going to work it out from here.
That's confidence for you.
My word, it is. Well, they did it also in their first half too, Mick, didn't they, when they had a chance? But decided to keep the pressure up on East. They failed to get a try on that occasion.
Well, it's not bad tactics, really. I condone it, actually.
Well, there's Bleakley. He's only a couple of metres out. We'll see whether it's going to work for them this time. But Arden gets it to Brennan. Brennan, no chance of unloading, is he? Yes, he is. He gets it apart, back to Fullerton-Smith. East is swarming up there at the moment. But then they just keep it going. Nice and tight, nice and rugged. Redcliffe desperate for a try at this stage as the minutes are ticking away. That is Polson. Just about 10 minutes remaining in the game now. So Redcliffe do need that try pretty soon. Colin Parks trying everything to get through. Final tackle. Fullerton-Smith back to Bernarden. He's going to put up the little chip over the top. Payne's back there with plenty of time. Can he get out of the in-goal area this time? No. Well wrapped up again. So another drop out from underneath the goal mouth. I think you'll find he'll go straight for the middle this time, Mick. Yes, he does. Back to Wally Fullerton-Smith. Drops it back behind him. Brown eventually the one to pick it up.
Crowd trying to say there was a knock on, but no.
Away from dummy half is Cherry. Cherry working up towards the quarterway. Dummy half is Fullerton-Smith. Over to Bernarden. Parks, Bernarden. Now, Ty, Bleakley, lost by Brennan. Straight in the hands of Brad Backer.
Oh, unlucky for Redcliffe. They were really on the boil then.
We'll have another look at it. There it goes. Brennan losing it. Yes, and Eastern Suburbs straight in there.
2 players for Redcliffe. And Backer the only one in front of them on that occasion.
Now, there's a change on the way for Redcliffe. I'd say Terry Webb is lining up to come on. Or Kajewski. Meanwhile, East keep it going. This is Briganshaw standing up in the tackle. Way to Lindenberg. Lindenberg loses it. Had it knocked out of his hands. He's regathered by the referee to play the knock on.
Oh, and sloppy from Lindenberg after doing such good work. And that's the second occasion today he's done that. Hit the open and dropped the ball.
Terry Webb coming on will take the place of Boxall in the Redcliffe lineup. Webb arriving on the scene now. He'll go into the lock forward position. Fullerton-Smith has gone up into second row. In there is Briganshaw caught up in the back of the scrum, but he has the ball. That's what Easts want. As time marches on, 7.5 minutes remaining in the match. East have a lead of 10 points to 5. Sale is the dummy half. It's been real slogging final stuff.
He's starting to use their head and take it up the middle.
Dummy half is Leman. Wrapped up, but they're 10 metres out. Gaining all the time, Eastern Suburbs. Dummy half is Sal. No chance of getting through there.
Well, this is what Eats have been doing. Taking up the middle and then the back line not functioning at all.
Well, that was Tingle taking it up there. Drop shot at goal by Trevor Patterson is okay. 1 point, so that makes it very interesting now at 11 points to 5. So now we're back onto the halfway. And time starting to get away from Redcliffe. 6 minutes remaining in the match. And 6 points the difference. Mitch Brennan up there to grab Gavin Payne, pull him to the ground right on the quarter line. East in possession. 25 metres out from their line. Sale from dummy half. Back over to Gavin Jones.
It's nice to control play, but for mine, East should be doing a little things more constructive than they do when it hits that back line.
Trevor Benson is on there. That was kicked into Terry Webb, bounced across field. Taken by Steve Stacey. There'll be another 6 tackles. Benson coming in for Vic Ty in the Redcliffe lineup. So 2 quick changes there by coach John Barber in the Redcliffe lineup. Pretty good idea too, Mick.
Oh, yes, they're starting to get a little weary. Bolster them up a little bit.
Shane McNally. Dummy half is Max Sal. So the right of going straight through to the grand final at stake here this afternoon. And it's Eastern Suburbs leading by 11-5. So Redcliffe have to get a converted try in the next 5 minutes to even it up and force some extra time here. That's Mitch Brennan. Dummy half is Forster. Forster away over there to Benson. Forster again. Paulson crashing towards the quarter. They lose the ball. Brad Backer has it. So now it's Redcliffe losing the ball on a couple of important occasions.
Sal playing it very steady in the middle.
Gavin Payne taking plenty of time to play it here. At this stage, just 4 minutes remaining in the match. And the longer it goes, of course, the better help it's going to be for Eastern Suburbs. Very hard to knock off from here. Well, they can't be beaten, that is one thing.
Well, unless Redcliffe jump into top gear.
And I don't know whether they're going to be able to do that. Anyway, here's Eastern Suburbs. 10 metres inside Redcliffe territory. Final tackle coming up. McNally over there to Lindenberg. Now over the top to Stacey. Stacey loses it. Lost the changeover, so I suppose they don't mind. Just getting it to them a little earlier, Mick.
Yes, it wasn't the best exhibition from Stacey.
Here's Terry Webb up as dummy half. One of the last-ditch stands for the Dolphins. As Webb works his way through. There's some 35 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. That's Benson. Dummy half is Parts. Over to Bleakley. Bleakley to Brennan. Brennan letting it go again, bounces straight off Brown, but he was offside.
And you picked that one up before, and once again Mitch doing that. And of course the player he was passing it to, well offside, and he put it into the forward motion. No good at all.
Steve Stacey, as you can see, injured there, and that's a bit of the play. Let's have a look at the scoring in the match today. It's a try apiece for the two teams. For Eastern Suburbs, a try by Gavin Payne. Shane McNally has kicked 2 penalties, converted a try, that try of Payne's. So he's ended up today with a total of 3 goals from 4. For Redcliffe, a try by Mitch Brennan. And we've seen Chapman kick 1 goal from 2 attempts. First scorers, 1 for Easts and 4 for Redcliffe. Scrums in the match at this stage, and also those drop goals. 1 by Patterson for Easts and 1 by Bernarden for Redcliffe. Scrums have gone Redcliffe way at this stage, 9-7, and the penalties have gone East's way by 10-7. 6 penalties coming out of the scrums today, 3 apiece here. Losing the ball, Mick, rather interesting. Redcliffe have lost it on 25 occasions, East's 26. And what else have we got for you? Missed tackles, 20 by East and 14 from Redcliffe. But with the time ticking away.
Actually, I hope you don't mind me. Bill, did Chapman convert one of those, did he?
Chapman.
Because we've got 5 points on the board and we've got a field goal and a try, you see. I didn't think he converted any.
None from 2, you're right, Michael. So now it's Eastern Suburbs slowing it up, and why not? They're in the box seats, but now it's Redcliffe across to Mitch Brennan. Then to Cherry. Have our Sabres Sportswear man of the match coming up shortly. One minute to go. And it's Redcliffe. Look like they're going to have to line up next week against Fortitude Valley here at Lane Park. After looking so much better earlier in the match. But Eastern Suburbs have the points on the board. They have lifted their game somewhat in the second half. Here's Bernarden putting in the little kick through. Backer is going back there. The ball is going to find touch. So we'll line up for what will be the final scrum of the match. East's 11, Redcliffe 5. Just about full time here at headquarters.
It hasn't been a bad game. Unfortunately, the drop ball has marred it. And a slow start by East, although by the look of it, they're going to run out winners.
Here's Colin Parts. He's about 25 metres out.
Never over till the final whistle.
A quick play the ball. Mitch Brennan with it now. Brennan with a long one. Out time to Brown. Brown couldn't get it away to Brennan. That's full time. The hooter is gone. And Eastern Suburbs straight into the grand final. They won the match here this afternoon, this major semi-final. 11 points to 5. And for Redcliffe, of course, it's lining up here at Lang Park next week to meet Fortitude Valley. Our Sabre Sportswear man of the match
is Steve Stacey, because some of those big runs put East right back in the match again. And there he is, the wounded warrior himself.
So Steve Stacey wins that Sabre Sports shirt and also, of course, that tracksuit. And he is our man of the match for Sabre Sportswear this afternoon. Actually, he's limping from the field at this stage. So there it is, full time, a win for Eastern Suburbs. They've defeated Redcliffe, and they are straight into the grand final. Back with our try of the match in just a moment.
Give me the ball. Show me that thin white line. Give me half a yard to move, and I'll beat you every time. Give me Mal, give me Wally, give me trouble, give me strength. Give me the sun any day for football. Give me the sun any day for football.
Well, Eastern Suburbs, of course, now going straight through to the grand final, and they'll be there in a couple of weeks' time. And for Redcliffe, they'll be lining up against Valleys next Sunday here at Lang Park. And I don't think they'd look forward to that one either, Mick.
No, not after that hot sun this afternoon. And, well, a little unlucky, I'd say, Redcliffe too, not to take that one out. But East getting there on the day, and it'll be a tight old tussle next weekend, Bill.
Well, let's see if we can be lucky for someone right now with our try of the match for electronic sales and rentals. All you have to do is get your entry form in the league lift out in the Daily Sun tomorrow. Tell us the name of this player coming through here, and write his name on your entry form there. Tell us what position he plays. Send it into us or drop it into electronic sales and rentals. And who knows, you could get away with that prize next week. It's a Rank Arena video recorder and also 300 movie swap from electronic sales and rentals. OK, Michael, that's about it for this week.
Yes, enjoy.